Well, hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Musings, season 5 or whatever it is, but the new one. So, I wanted to talk real quick about why that is. So, first off, like the number of seasons was just growing insane. Like it was like 33, 30, or like 40 or something then. I don't know. So, it's a lot. I mean, I know they're only half hours, but there has to be some kind of semblance of, okay, now we're on to a next thing, a next era, or a next. And that's kind of a funny thing. Sorry, we started talking about YouTube segmenting content, and now we're talking about the end of the world. So, like, I've heard this theory about how we keep having the end days or the end of the world, and then some people are just like, oh, no, that just means the end of an age, or the translation actually said age, or whatever. And I would want to check that. But at the same time, if I was going to believe that the end of the world was coming, like Y2K, because that's really what people thought. I mean, not necessarily the end of the world, but we were like waiting to like listening and waiting for planes to start dropping out of the sky and like trains to start crashing. And like we didn't know what to expect because like that was like the biggest bug fix in computer history. And granted, we brought computers into this world. America did. So, boom. No, I'm just kidding. But we just had the vast amount of resources to do such a thing and the freedom. Now, granted, freedom, it needs to be checked. That's why our government is so flawed. At the same time, I mean, and it's no much more than a shadow of the English government. I mean, I just saw this other thing about Boris, what's his name, which I liked the guy. I thought he was nice, but I hear a bunch of bad things, so I don't know. And I imagine that's what a lot of people think about our presidents until they do like extreme things like the last couple. But I mean, like even with Biden, well, maybe even not what Biden's doing, but Biden is in like this such extreme situation. We've got Russia, we've got China, and China's constantly trying to remind the world, like, hey, we're trying to be neutral and we're trying to do what's right for peace here. America's the one doing this. So already they're trying to do a us and them argument, mostly in retaliation or response to, because again, this isn't. There's two sides to every story, at least two sides. I would say there's two, or there's n sides. So in computer science, whenever you don't know, you just say n. So it's a number. Or I, capital I could be integer. So if you don't know, just insert a variable there. And that's like, so that's algebra, which is being taught younger and younger. And that's why I started to say this, the other musings. But I'm really hopeful for the future because computer science is being taught at grade school level now as a public school thing for America. And well, there's people like me out here teaching stuff, and I'm not the only one by far. Like anyone who's learning computer science for a career right now is quickly finding out that there are plenty of people online that will teach you how to do all of it. It's just, can you sit through it? Now, the people that paid that $40,000 to $60,000 to go to college in America is so again, these are mostly the people making those six-figure salaries. That's $100,000 to anyone, out there. I'm actually pretty average for a computer science student. I mean, I had A's and B's for the most part, and then computer science classes, like there were a few C's and one D. But any D's, except for this one class, I lucked out because it was an elective, so a D was okay. I mean, I'm not happy about it. Databases, we'll just say it. I got a D in databases, but it was online. I had my first kid there, so oh gosh, now people can tell how old they are, doxing and everything. But anyways, yeah. So I had a kid when I was finishing up college, and had that problem to solve. Not that kids are problems, but they do introduce a whole new set of problems that you need to solve. So, and that includes training, patience, uh, yeah, same with owning a pet, not the same degree and a slightly different problem set because, and for good and bad, because then you can't communicate with them the way you can with a human, kiddo or a person kiddo. But because still, fur babies are babies still, I would say that is accurate. Like they are definitely part of the family. I mean, that's why I won't get a dog is because it's so much work and so much, oof, look at this. We haven't even used any of the bone meal. So that's just because I have this nice system from all the years playing. It's been a few years now playing Minecraft. It's been out for like 20 plus years, I want to say. And I even saw someone in the computer lab at CSU, like not to snitch anyone out, but someone was playing Minecraft on the computers there, which was horribly against the rules, like the fair use policy, which I mean, you do need that for the real world. So once you get into the real world, you need to know that you can't use their technology for Minecraft or stuff like this. Like you can't be playing games, you can't be using their Googles, and you can't, so and most companies are really good about this now, at least in America. I don't know about the rest of the world because I can't speak for the rest of the world, but they're good at segmenting what you can do at work. So like you have separate email. So if it's a personal thing, then you would have it sent to your personal email versus a work email, then that's for all things work. And emails are pretty much standard, like for even for the little charity giveaway things that I want to do on this channel, like just like the maybe the one Minecraft a month thing or something. I don't know. Like, and that might be good for a while, like because I am still moving forward with projects at work. We're getting more laptops ready for the local community, and then I have to check out laws and regulations on other countries, and then it's actually a question of it would make more sense for me to bring Red Key USBs to places around the world and donate them to companies. Because what those do is those allow those companies to donate their old tech with peace of mind. And sorry, this is an advertisement for Red Key USB, but it's not official. So I don't know what the legality of that is, but I am an official backer of the Red Key project. So I supported enough. And again, I'm not rich. I don't have a lot of money. In fact, I don't even have like a savings, so to speak. Like I have debt and I'm paying off that debt. We'll be paying off that debt for a college degree and a boot camp certification, all from CSU, which I still say is worth it, but whew, it's a kick in the face. Like, so, I mean, actually, no, I wouldn't say it's worth it all the way, but you can't just have CSU adjust it. All the universities have to adjust their prices, and it all has to come down over time, or some other entity like the government needs to invest in part of it. And for that to happen, it would have to only come from the people's. So they're right there. Why haven't we talked about that? Can we segment taxpayers? Like, only because I know you can do it on a business level because I've worked at a company where they get donations and they get to tell them like, hey, this money is specifically for this, and this money is for general use. Those are the two main distinctions. Is one is like purpose for, or it's not proprietary. I forget what it's called, but it's like um actually, hold on. I will do this from time to time. I'm just going to double check and make sure that I set an alarm because otherwise I have a tendency to ramble off. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 33. 33rd degree Freemason. Wait, what did the Freemasons have to do with any of this? Oh, Denver, silly. And if you watch South Park, you know all about this. But DIA is built by the Freemasons. It's the Masonic Society. There's a cornerstone there. You can Google it, just DIA Freemasons, and you'll find all sorts of cool stuff that way. But you can't if you're in China or other countries that censor their internet. Now, you might be able to do that search, but I mean, and I get it. Like that's kind of like having safe search for families because there is stuff that you don't want your kids to just browse the internet willy-nilly. Like I don't let my kids do that. It's guided. Like if they ever have access to a browser, I'm sitting right there. Like I'm watching them and I'm telling them. And I explain exactly why because as a cybersecurity professional, I can tell you that a lot of those links that look really fun, like back in my day, it was the try to whack-a-mole with Saddam Hussein, which seems horribly barbaric now that we're not at war with Iraq. Just kidding, we never were. We were just at war with the Middle East for 20 years for something that was only partially done by them, in my opinion. Like the whole 9/11 thing. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. I mentioned I had military training. That is actual military training. It's not, I've never been in the military, yes, per se, but I was wanting to get into the Marine Corps right out of high school. So I trained with the local motor pool. I did the Marine exercises. I was trying to get in like the peak shape, and I was too. I was like 160 pounds. I was like, I was able to bench press 300 pounds before that, but not since losing even more weight. But still pretty strong. Worked out regularly. Could climb like rope ladder all quick. I remember this one time, like I just randomly did it at a party. We were we were up in the woods at this like festival thing, like our version of a festival, and I just randomly climbed a rope swing, and it was like just all the way up. Which it's been rumored that CIA people used to come to those things. Anyways, sorry, I digress. But now festivals are like everywhere, and people are just doing festivals just like for fun. And like, You know, and it wasn't even as hypey as that. We didn't even have like music, I don't think. We had like we played our own music, but um yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm just reminiscing about the mountains because it is a simpler place, but it's bittersweet. Like there's pros and cons of being in a simpler place, and that's the whole. That's pretty much how our country is divided. It's like the simpletons and then the city folk, and like we've had movies about it. It's like City Slickers is a comedy with Billy Crystal where a bunch of city people come to the country and then the country people have to show them how to live and then the city people get to turn around and show them how to live. And you know, we've known about this for decades that this is an issue, yet we can't seem to fix it. So it's because it's a very tangled mess of chords. Like, you know, and each one of these chords, you gotta slowly like tug on it first, see, and then like, okay, no, be responsive. Be like, okay, we can't pull that one yet because it might rip the chord. Um, or you know, it's easier to do this one first, and then as you do that, as long as you involve everyone too. That's the other thing. One of my projects going on is town halls for campaigning. Like I've been advocating for removing money from campaigning for about 3 months now. Like, and not to make that sound as any more special than it is, it's not. I've just been mentioning on the Twitters every now and then, be like, hey, we need to ban money from campaigning, and here's why. And here's why, for you at home there with the YouTube. If we ban money from campaigning, then it actually restricts the malarkey or the shenanigans or the fraud or all of the stuff that we have concerns about with our government, the lies and everything, the fake outs or the so with Republicans it's usually lies and with Democrats it's usually sneaking stuff in. So the sneaky Democrats or the lying Republicans, like both have been, and I honestly think that that's a little heavy-handed for the Democrats. But at the same time, if someone's at a tech disadvantage, which is fine, remember, like different situations, different universes, different people, you know, different strokes, different folks. Again, we've been saying that since the what 80s, 70s. Um, like different people have different problem or solutions for different sets of problems is a better way to think about that. And that's the more computer sciencey thing. And again, kids as young as I want to say it was like sixth or seventh grade where computer programming was standard for Colorado public school education. Because some of my family are public school teachers, and one of my relatives sent me that link, which is a link. You could look it up. You can Google it. It'll take some doing though. And if you're not comfortable with Google searches, which a lot of people still aren't, and that's fine. Um, just try searching something in Google and then restricting the amount of words that you use. So try to describe it the most with the smallest amount of words possible, and that's Google Foo, and that's one of the important topics I talk about. And we learned that in college, like not in that way, like some of our classmates and I want to say more the TAs. I don't think I ever heard a professor actually say they would say things like Google it, but then they would just assume that you knew how to Google it, or they didn't have time set out in their lecture or carved out in their lecture to tell you how to Google it. Um, Also, we have way plenty wood now. I don't even remember what we were getting it for. Torches. There we go. Because we're gonna light this place up, make it safe for taking it out of peaceful. Because we're in peaceful mode right now, which means I can ramble without any interruptions and be able to finally spit ideas out. See, that's the thing. These musings, they are not intentionally rough, but like, that's just how it works. Like, I'll get these pearls of wisdom out of this like clam of a WTF. Well, that's fine. So one of my professors at CSU used to say that too. I just feel like, uh, actually the one that taught me security, because we did take a security class, but even then, I didn't understand that you needed to have a backup email and a recovery phone on all of your email accounts. So for anybody who hasn't had to go through that, it's understandable. So I want to put a few here. Let's put a few in our furnace room. And see, this is the kind of thing that you'd have on like PBS TV, like somebody walking around in some like, you know, Pee-wee's Playhouse. I've never watched any of that, but like, oop, let's see. You know, I saw the Playhouse and I've seen like enough spoofs on it to be like, oh, okay, I kind of got an idea. But yeah, I'm really gonna load it up here because this much wood will make tons and tons of sticks, which will in turn make tons and tons of torches. Hold on. So it's almost exponential, but not quite. And so if you weren't able to pay attention to school the first time, and again, that's not even trying to be derogatory. Oh, no, excuse me. Anyways, uh, like I'll even go as far as to say Gesundheit because the religion kind of offends me sometimes. Not all the times. Like it depends on how people try to say it. Like if they're really proud of it, or like if they start quoting scripture at me, then I'm just like, man, I will point out every flaw that I see. I will judge you just as hard, and like, and you're not gonna like it because I see a lot, and law enforcement in general. Um, we used to joke about it, but my friend's dad, who he's actually a cop now, and like, and I've also, yeah. Anyways, we won't go down that, but he would tell us that I can tell when someone's high on drugs, or and I can tell you what drug, like just from certain tells, certain ticks, like anybody is susceptible to being read like a book and they don't know it. And then they come through, and I think they even tell you in dare, like, hey, by the way, we can tell. And then the kids are like roll their eyes like, oh yeah. Like no, no, they can tell. But at the same time, dare was good education, but it was misguided, and here's why. Actually, we'll just leave the six there because we're going to drop these off in the. Okay. It taught you how to spot the drugs, how to say no to drugs, and how to report people that had drugs, but not to be a person that had drugs. So, like, say there should be a help manual for, say you've only started to break the law. Okay, so here's what you need to do. And here's some advice. Like, first off, or wait, whoops. Oh, yeah, we can do this. Sorry, I was like watching that 8 and it didn't change. So I was like, oh, okay. But anyways, so there's got to be a second manual for, okay, so you've screwed up, now what? Like, okay, because I mean, for someone to remain completely abstinent from everything, like, look at priests, look at the amount of sex crimes we get from the church. Like, look at all that. And then tell me that any of that makes sense. Like, it doesn't, because anybody who even understands the words in the Bible would never do that to a kiddo, especially. Okay, but here's the thing. Well, actually, I don't even know. So that's a universe that thankfully I don't have any understanding to, or the most understanding I have is I've had some correctional family say that it's a sickness, it's a disease for, we're talking sex offenders, specifically pedophiles, but I mean, regular sex offenders, I do have experience with that because I've dealt with rapists in my life. Like, I've, I've had to encounter problems with that. So, actual, like, I didn't think it was real. Like, I knew, like, like sex crimes were real, but I didn't think, like, sex drugs were real. Like, date rape drugs. Because in Buena Vista, they weren't. They no, you didn't. I mean, maybe now, like maybe now that people are like roaming more, communicating more, I don't know. But back in the day when we barely had dial-up, like so again, part of the bad. So the bathwater of the baby. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We need to drain the bathwater or drain the swamp, as people say with politics from both sides. Sorry, we're also getting coal because these are supposed to be torches, but for that I have to alleviate some of this. Let's see where these are at. But basically, I forget where I was even going with that. Oh, and these are all probably stocked all fine. Oh, nope. So, anyways, I digress and I digress a lot. But the point is that we now have potential new solutions for sex crimes, as specifically magic mushrooms. Now, in Colorado, they've been legalized for clinical use only, but they're also decriminalized for personal use and legalized for personal clinical use. But the gray area is you can't sell them. There are laws against even selling weed, or you can't sell marijuana in Colorado without a license, and they are very, very, very strict. Like you have to pretty much go to school just to be a bud tender, I think is what they call it now, the people that work in dispensaries, because it is such a guarded thing. Like, I mean, if we mess this up, it could be a fast track to back to illegal for everyone. And that's the thing is like we're finding out quickly that even just by legalizing it, it's not for the people that are actually smoking it or ingesting it. It's also the people that have to deal with everybody else. Like, do you want to deal with a bunch of drunk people or do you want to deal with a bunch of stoned people? Like when it's a binary choice like that. Now, granted, be like, oh wait, A-Rye, you were just telling us that usually it's not a one of two choice thing, and you're right, because but just looking at the myriad or the many levels of different problems that arise from drinking versus the problems that they solve, because they do still solve problems temporarily. And they also solve problems for reproduction too. I mean, it is kind of one of those like Nickelodeon like potty jokes, but any way you slice it, like the booze is good uh, for procreating. There we go. We'll be a little dignified about it. Also, we got this bone meal still. Let's go put that away. 'Cause we didn't even use it. That's fine. These cacti are here for another project. Got a lot of sciencey experiments going on in this world. Nope, right there. Although even if I do, or no, this one would break it because normally I have a chest here if I want to collect cacti, which I think I have. No, I lost this stack. But anyways, I'm more interested in the bone meal. And basically what this giant structure is. Sorry, if you're just joining us for season 5, this is a cactus farm. It's all contained in there. It's and I don't even remember when I built it. That was like way back in the day. I think it was here when I started doing musings. So, but anyways, it drops cacti down here. Waddles has a video on it, I'm pretty sure. If not Waddles, just look up cactus farm in Minecraft. Like there's so much stuff out there. It's awesome. But But here we're talking about problem solving and social inequalities and the problems that result from that. So even the laws, they might be, they sound good on paper. Like Biden's whole thing with like a quarter-sized amount of crack will get you 5 years in prison. So okay, great, that sounds like a wonderful thing. Like let's get those drug dealers. But then until people realize, wait, what if that's me, or what if that's my cousin, or what if that's my, or and then 5 years in prison. That's 5 years of lost income. That's 5 years of being a dependent on society. That's 5 years of expense for paying for somebody to be a dependent on society. And somebody has to pay the people that have to watch those people. I mean, granted, that creates jobs. So right there. So that's why I kind of chuckle and kind of get angry sometimes too when, about the whole, there it is, same thing. We got 3 there. We could put it in this stack. But it is going to be tight. And also, usually this is my... So what should I should be taking stuff out there. Oh, well, we'll just fill up another... No, it's like Jeopardy music. What is he going to do? He's going to go dump a bunch of torches into this. I don't even know where that one went. Anyways, that's fine. Because I'm not looking at the particular point in the screen. You might have been, but it's going to be like Blue's Clues on these videos. Like, you might see some things that are very obvious. Because I noticed this when I'm watching the videos. I'm like, it's right there. And it's like, well, yeah, but maybe I was looking over here. There's a lot of real estate to be looking at here. Anyways, tons of torches. And why? So we can get unpeaceful. And I don't think I'm going to do it for a long time. Like, it is just kind of like a for fun thing. Because it is part of Minecraft. You want to fight the Ender Dragon. You got to get the armor. You got to do it. Like, and I've done it many times. I've only beat the Wither once. And that was kind of cheap, too. I tried it down in the, there's a trick. And if you look up how to beat the Wither. So no spoilers. Go defeat the Wither. Actually, never mind. Go Google it. There is a trick to beat the Wither. It's almost, I consider it cheating. But, so I haven't beaten the Wither legit. I will admit that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So, oh, and there's the alarm. So anyways, yeah, we get into a lot of things, but I'm basically going to be putting these torches everywhere so I don't get attacked while I'm musing, because I'm going to take it out of peaceful. That was like the whole thing I talked about for the last few episodes of season 4. Just to show people real quick. This is all the stuff that I'm going to be doing for enchanting my armor and a sword, because I have some swords somewhere. Well, I mean, I do have a sword here, but if you look at it, let's take this off. No. Oh. Okay, so it is an unused but unenchanted sword. So see how it doesn't have any... Oh, wait. No, it is sharpness and unbreaking. Never mind. I was going to say, actually, it has a purplish tint to it. So, anyways, so that's all I have for a sword. It's not the best. It needs mending. I only have a few mending books. And see, this is why I don't wear armor usually, because it damages it. So really, this set of armor is kind of useless in my eyes, because it's not useless. You could still use it until it breaks, but if I'm going to go out, I have the resources. I've got stacks and stacks of emeralds. Or diamonds. Sorry, I keep mixing them up. Because they look the same now in this texture pack. But diamonds, emeralds, whatever. I've got one, two, three stacks, 3.5 stacks basically, and that's just what's here. I also just show you here. There. In fact, we'll even go move them while I'm thinking of it, but like, so I can afford to make new armor, but I can also afford to bring these stacks of diamonds to these other or not kingdoms, because kingdom implies a patriarchal society. So again, we grew up learning in like even our fantasy books are all about kingdoms and stuff, not queendoms, you know. Or the queen can rule over the kingdom, but that's really the woman just standing in for a man that was a king. Same with woman and human. Like woman has man in it and human has man in it, but you don't call a man a human, you call a man, and you call a woman a woman. And that probably originated from people being like, let's just hurry this up. Let's shorten this down. Human is too long. Let's just call man. Okay. Woman, oh, wait, but they're not there. They're not represented because women weren't in the workplace up until recently. Like the last, what, 50, 60 years ago? They were barely even in the workplace. No, as soon as like 20 years ago, they were barely in the workplace and they were definitely not getting paid the same. So, right there, issues, problems that we needed to solve. And we kind of did. We're almost there. Oh, and Rick and Morty. Watch Rick and Morty. But basically, I have all this stuff. I'm going to take a ton of torches. I'm going to set up this base, and then wherever I'm going, which I think is there. This is the one that's actually in my hand. But see that little circle there? That's where I'm going to be building the next base, which is actually quite a trek from here. Ooh, if I could make it from here, but I need to build that to connect the line. Or wait, no, I could just go there and then. All right, but anyways, that'll take some planning. We're gonna take it out of peaceful. Although I do want to see this mob grinder too. So this other giant structure in my base with some lava by it. That's a mob grinder that just grinds mobs. Like mobs will spawn in there and they fall to their death, and I collect their items. Complete manipulation of non-playable characters. So they're basically bots in my mind, not living things. However, if they were living things, then we would have to readjust our tactics. But we would just be at war with them because you do need to gather some of the stuff they have. But anyways, that's way over 30 minutes. Oh, wait, no. Why was my alarm going off? Oh, I set it for the wrong thing. Whoops. Okay, that's embarrassing. That doesn't happen a lot, but it just happened. So I'm going to say, well, anyways. What, 2 minutes? Oh, jeez. Wait, what? Oh, right. Well, whatever. Only got a couple of minutes. We'll end it up shy. But basically, in this game, you do need to kill hostile mobs to get certain things. I don't even have them in here, but bones. And that's, you use bones to. You can also find them in the temples, so you could get them there. I'm also thinking like vegetarian and meat eater. Like, in order to get protein, you need to eat the beef. Or chicken if you're, in a place that is a little more sensitive about cows. Whereas America, we're less sensitive because that's the most amount of food that we've gotten for the smallest amount of effort. Like, that is a very economic thing to feed this massive country that just exploded with populations. However, oh, and see, that might be an explanation for India and their issues, or their problems, which they're solving too, mind you. They are doing work and we're all helping each other, but they're doing good. They could do better. And that's why I was thinking, like, the big thing that jumped out at me because I was there. I was actually there this year. Only in Mumbai. And I've seen pictures and videos of other places from that same time period. Same trip, but not, I wasn't there. So anyways, work stuff, work gloves, work boots, PPE, personal protective equipment. That is huge. And we used to do that when I was building wind turbine blades. Like, you just got to have safety protection. Like, that's safety gear, basically. So we're talking like safety glasses. So if you're sawing something or cutting something, the piece of it doesn't fly in your eye, which I've actually had happen to me. Back when I used to build houses in high school, I was working construction. And so framer specifically. That's almost 30 minutes. But yeah, just real quick. So I was cutting a stairwell, and I lifted up my sunglasses because I was using sunglasses as my PPE for that cut because the sun was shining. We were building outside, so sunglasses or regular safety glasses. So already that's kind of dangerous, but anyways, it was something, and it was protecting my eyes up until then because I imagine pieces of metal were flying everywhere. Because the very second I made like one cut, it shot a piece of metal right into my eye, just like a piece of metal dust, and I had to go to the hospital and have it removed. And yeah, so I couldn't see. I had to have someone drive me. I had to have someone come. I think my mom came and picked me up from the job site, and like had to drive me to the hospital. And like, yeah, it was all bad. And that was just one eye. I mean, like imagine, yeah. So yeah, point of the story is be kind to each other. And that's what Christianity was originally supposed to teach, but I'm not on any soapbox for it. I'm not peddling it or anything. So, and I understand why some people feel that way. That's why that short that I put out, it was very controversial. I saw like YouTube things. I don't know how the algorithm works, but like when I was talking about religion, how some people they don't like religion for that reason is because their lives aren't really doing so well. And I know we're at 30, but uh, it's because yeah, exactly that. Like they hear this thing, they think it's snake oil, they think it's false. They think, and then even if you're a follower and you hear some new thing like, "Oh, hey, here's how you can do this," or "Burn your belly fat with this," or like it's all blasphemy and like fake, and I don't know. That's the more serious people. But then you go to other countries, the Middle East is the same. Like you think their religious persecution is any different? No, it's the exact same. It's just done in a different way. But like they're concerned about things that go against their understanding of the world. And then the younger generations are kind of like battling the older generations. And now the younger generation, first female concert since the 70s happened recently. The women can drive now. And like, you know, and like it's not because they're intentionally oppressing them. They try to treat them like princesses, like queens, and out of respect for them, but they think that they can do that better than them. So, and right there, that's the abortion argument too. Like, you know, you're saying that you think you can handle a woman's health better than her because of your religious beliefs, and you believe that it starts at conception, which honestly, I don't think it does. But I mean, I respect your opinion too, but voting to make it legally or illegally nationally, and that's where a lot of people are arguing is like, well, let the states decide, and the states didn't decide in the favor. So we found out who among us is still very religious. So okay, or at least to that point, and that are willing to go to that and fight that battle. I've heard it said, "Die on that hill." But anyways, I will see you in the next one. Ta ta.